It is 4:02 in the afternoon. You are tuned to the 4 p.m. 411. I am Loyd Kirby, joined today by the Executive Director of the Oasis Senior Center, Krista Miller. Krista, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Did you have any trouble finding the place?
A little.
Oops. There we go. Push some buttons there. So, yes, we're going to be talking with Krista about the Oasis Senior Center and some of the programs and events and offerings of that place, and you'll give us a peek behind the curtain as far as how things operate. If you have a question or a comment for Krista, 217-648-5510, the number to call. Or if you would like to email us your question, you can do so at 4pm411@WLCNonline.com. So Krista, we were talking a little bit before we went on the air. You took the job in November of 2021, so you've been there not quite a year yet.
Yeah.
How are things going?
Wonderful. Busy. You wouldn't think that for a little, small community with senior center, but we are very busy.
Okay. And you, as we also discussed, you had come to the Oasis Senior Center from a nonprofit background, so you had some of that experience in your background. You are the executive director. So what does an executive director of a senior center do?
Oh, behind the scenes, make the magic happen.
Okay.
And I think the one thing I would say is we have a wonderful board of directors that it's a working board, and they're the boots on the ground that are the volunteers making things happen, and I just kind of do the behind the scenes coordinating and you just make sure the lights are on and paying the bills and all the fun things that you don't see. But I also am the one volunteering as well and helping, and so but really the board of directors and the volunteer base that we have makes the magic happen. I just facilitate it. So I'm a facilitator.
Okay, very good. You're steering the ship.
Yeah.
We were going to have your activities director with us, Amber Davis, and
Yes.
you were mentioning to me that you handle sort of the the higher view kind of planning and organization, whereas Amber is more involved, as you would think, with an activities director in the events and the programs going on.
Yeah, so we have a small staff, 2 full-time, 2 part-time. A front person, which is Rhonda Batten. She's amazing. Mm-hmm. She's the face, the smile that you see or call. And we have a bookkeeper that's amazing that does a lot part-time. And then Amber Davis and we split. So I do fundraising and the running things, and then she is all programs. So anything that is program related, she's got a hand in it. She does the meetings with the committee, again with the board, mm-hmm. and then they make the magic happen on that side with the programs.
And when you talk about programs, pretty much every type of program I think imaginable falls under that umbrella, it seems like, is going on out there.
Yes, they do. Day trips, that's the fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We do probably 2 a month, where they would go to the barn, Goodfield. They went to Yoder's. What is that? It's a wonderful little restaurant in Arthur. Mm-hmm. All over the state of Illinois, pretty much, they will go to do day trips.
Right.
And
I think I saw a trip to Sullivan and
yes.
to Springfield maybe earlier as well. So,
there's a Litchfield Pickers Market coming up in September. And you call, you register, you sign up through the Oasis, and there's usually some sort of fee, either for the gas money or a ticket, and then they have wonderful day trips. Okay. We also will do, on the fundraising side, once or twice a year, I will coordinate big trips. They went to Pigeon Forge a couple of months ago, and then we will plan some trips next year as well. So. Okay.
And while we're on the topic of day trips, I've noticed in putting events in our community calendar here on the WLCN website, for example, the trip to Goodfield to see Everybody Loves Opal, I think. I noticed there was a member price and a non-member price. So can you tell me a little bit about membership with the Oasis, how much it costs, who is eligible, what the benefits are, those types of details?
Anyone can be a member. And the membership is currently $15 a year.
Wow, you can't beat that.
Right. And that really just helps us to create the newsletters and to, make the lights and the heat happen and the things behind the scenes, again, that people don't see. But it's a very small amount of money to become a member, and then you have that option. You will get the newsletter 4 times a year with that membership. You will have the ability. We have a small gym inside of the Oasis.
Okay.
So you can sign up to exercise. Okay. And we've got card players. We have mahjong players. We've got just anything you can think of that we're operating on. Just being a member gives you those things that you can come in and do with us.
Okay. So sign up, get a monthly membership, and then you're eligible to participate in Let's see, I saw tomorrow afternoon there's euchre and spades, or in the
Yes.
morning, and pinochle in the afternoon. So people who have a membership can come in and
Yes.
take part in those.
We also don't turn someone away.
Okay.
So if they literally cannot afford to be a member, we're never going to say you can't come in, you can't play. We will always be inclusive and accepting.
Okay.
So-
All right. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. And I was going to ask you about payment arrangements, but I mean, $15 for a year is,
Yeah.
I mean, that hopefully is affordable for most of our listening audience. Let's see. We talked about some of the different programs. You mentioned cards. I mentioned euchre and spades and pinochle. I've seen different activities such as a monthly book club meeting. Gosh, what else have I seen in putting the community calendar together? Well, you mentioned that part of your responsibilities have to do with fundraising. Have you got some fundraising events coming up? I know there's. I think I saw a couple in the newsletter as I was perusing
Yeah.
it before airtime.
A big one coming up is Balloons Over 66 weekend, right? Which is a huge deal for Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
During that weekend, on Saturday from 10 to 4, we'll have a vendor event.
Okay.
We have a walking track behind the Oasis that is available to anyone at any time.
Oh, wow.
But on that walking track, we're going to have vendors set up. And it's, just a little shopping day of things that, anywhere from your Scentsy, vendors and your pink zebras to local vendors that create jewelry or posters and woodworking. And if you can think of it, they're going to be there at this vendor event. So, and we will also be selling corn on the cob.
Oh.
Jim Examus is going to give us a big bunch of corn on the cobs.
nice.
So we will make it corn on the cob. But anyways, brats and hot dogs. So during lunch, we'll be serving that. And we'll also sell tickets if anyone wants to do drive-through.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, the vendor event's going to be huge. And that is to be collaborative with the town of Lincoln for that whole big weekend of just the balloons being here and the togetherness, and there's going to be all kinds of stuff downtown.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I also saw in the newsletter a spaghetti dinner coming up in September rather.
Yeah. So on a Thursday night, September 22nd, it's just your, spaghetti, garlic bread, salad, and cookies. And we're going to sell tickets with that. It's also been put on our website, and we're going to put it into Facebook. But that's just, you don't have to cook that night.
Right.
You do the drive-through, grab your spaghetti, go home and eat.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just one of those. I like those.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and I'm a big fan of spaghetti, so
Yeah.
that will definitely go on my calendar. So we're talking with Krista Miller, the executive director of the Oasis. If you have questions or comments, 217-648-5510, or you may send your comments by email, 4pm411@WLCNonline.com. Next week, speaking of Balloons Over 66, Seth Goodman is scheduled to be our guest, so he'll tell us a little bit more about some of the other events taking place during Balloons Over 66 weekend. But today our focus, as I said, the Oasis Senior Center and Krista Miller. You mentioned to me in preparing for the show that you and the activities director, Amber, had recently gotten some certifications, which allows you to do some things that maybe you weren't able to do before in terms of insurance information for folks.
Yes, there's this through the Department on Aging. They've created the SHIP program, which is Senior Health Insurance Program.
Okay.
And what that does is allows us to help someone that is just turning 65, or maybe they're 65, but maybe they're confused on what to do with Medicare. It's all based around Medicare. Any questions, but then also at the end of the year, there's open enrollment for Medicare, and we will help them with the Part D, with prescriptions, figuring that stuff out, what's their best way to go. And we've got some websites that make it very user-friendly for us to help someone plug it in, see what's the best option for them. And we also have a great age link through the Department on Aging. If we have questions, they are absolutely 100% in there to help us, to help the community.
Okay, very good. So Krista Miller is our guest from the Oasis Senior Center. We'll be back with her after this break. If you have questions, once again, 217-648-5510, the number to call. We will be back in just a couple minutes. Buttons to push here. There we go. So we're talking with Krista Miller from the Oasis Senior Center. She's the executive director. 217-648-5510, the number to call. We've been talking a lot about the programs and the events and the things offered at the Senior Center as Mabel decides to join the conversation. From an administrative perspective, COVID, obviously, I'm sure, has been a big challenge in several ways, but what other types of challenges or obstacles maybe have you encountered in your position at the Oasis that maybe you didn't anticipate when you started there last year?
Well, you're right. COVID has been a big one. But I came in at the tail end of, how the whole Illinois was being locked down. Mm-hmm. We do make sure to give updates when so Logan County can become a hotspot. Mm-hmm. And we will print out, some flyers and put them out on all the tables, or we will just remind people to be safe and to remind them if Logan County is a hot spot and if they choose to wear a mask and just be safe and wash their hands and, all the things.
Sure.
I think another challenge is just that non-for-profit, the challenge is to bring the money in. Mm-hmm. And so you're wearing many hats with grants, with membership, mm-hmm. with donations. We actually had this is a pretty cool story. A local man donated a collection of salt and pepper shakers to us. Mm. And we are just in the process of figuring out if we can find a collector that might want to buy the collection. Uh-huh. And they had valued it. Now, mind you, antiques go up and down in value depending on the day, but
sure.
They had valued it at, and quote me, I'm not sure if this is right, but $20,000 to $50,000 a while ago.
That would be helpful, I would think.
It was this man's parents, and so this has been a collecting for several years.
Right.
Anyway, we're looking at, so if you know a salt and pepper shaker collector, send them our way. that would be helpful. So yeah, we're looking at every different way possible to bring money in so that we have sustainability for the Oasis, because that's really our goal. Is we want a safe place for our seniors, but we want to make it last.
Sure.
And so that's where, money.
Yeah, money would definitely be helpful. So if folks out there are interested in donating, whether it's monetarily or some sort of goods that maybe they could donate that would you could turn around and hopefully get some value out of, how would they go about doing so?
A couple of ways. We have on our membership form, you can say that you want to be that member for $15 a year, but then you have other levels that you could donate. And then you could just walk into the Oasis or call us and say, hey, because that's kind of where we got the salt and pepper shakers. I had a phone call, and one of our members, he says, hey, I got a friend that wants to donate to you guys. What do you think? And I said, yes, please. So, if you just come out to the Oasis and see us, or pick up the phone, or put it on your membership form, and any denomination is very, very, we are very grateful for any monies and any volunteers that we have. It's a wonderful place.
Yeah, no donation is too small.
Yeah.
So now in terms of donations, obviously those would be used as we were talking about prices the way they are, and power bills, and I'm sure with day trips there are transportation costs that have escalated here recently. What are the needs of the Oasis? Like, if someone wanted to donate and wanted to help out, maybe not necessarily monetarily, but what areas would you benefit the most from, as far as people being able to people can volunteer, I'm assuming, as well?
That's a huge need.
Okay.
We have seniors, right? That's our volunteer base. So we are always looking for new faces. And in some cases, young faces, because some of it is a little more labor intensive, whereas I don't want to put a senior in that position. So we're looking at all ages to be involved.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. And if people are interested in volunteering, again, they can
call the Oasis, 217-732-6132.
Okay, I figured you might know that number. Yeah. So our guest is Krista Miller, the Executive Director of the Oasis Senior Center in Lincoln. We've talked about memberships. We've talked about some of the activities. There is, I'm not sure people are aware, and we've hit on some of them, but you have a whole slew of activities. You mentioned it before, that pretty much anything you could think of pretty much is available in one form or another. You also have, I've seen in putting our community calendar together, sometimes you'll bring in outside non-Oasis staff people to conduct like a painting night, for example. You've had those where people can come in and for a nominal fee, the cost of supplies and instruction, they have a paint night where they are given the canvas and create this masterpiece of, of their own hand. Yes. Do you have other activities like that where people come in from the outside and maybe there's a cost involved that people would pay? And
one of the big ones that is very popular is foot care.
Really?
We have a wonderful lady that will come in and she takes care of their feet, and it's a $15 fee. And her schedule is always booked. It's wonderful. So, and we have Senior Food Bank. We do once a month where we give free food to seniors. And again, we will never turn someone away. We're not standing at the door asking for their income. It is just us being there for our seniors.
Okay. And I've also noticed on the community calendar, you also have fundraiser nights at Culver's as well every once in a while.
Yes. And then Tuesday night bingo is huge.
Okay.
It's a big, fun night every Tuesday where they have wonderful cooks, wonderful volunteers that will cook dinner. And so there's a dinner, usually $5.50 for dinner at 5 o'clock. And then at 6:30 they play bingo. And it's a lot of fun. And then if they win prizes, I think there's like a jackpot that's like $500. So you could win that. Just come and play and have a good night and maybe win some money.
Sure.
So.
And Now, those particular activities, those are open to anyone? Or
Open to anyone.
Right.
And they are a fee, so you might pay for like $20 worth of cards that night. Or last week I think I heard someone, they got several cards and it was $38. But again, the more you buy, the more you might have a chance to win.
Right.
So
Right, exactly. So Krista Miller is our guest, the Oasis Senior Center Executive Director. Once again, if you have questions or comments, 217-648-5510. We're going to go ahead and take our second break, and we will be back right after this. Stream here. There it goes. So, Krista, what has been, I asked you what some of the biggest challenges were that you faced. Let's take it on the other side and look at it positively. What are some of the biggest rewards or the things you've enjoyed in your position as executive director?
biggest reward is the people. When my office is, outside of where they play cards or mahjong or, the daily things that happen at the Oasis, and to sit and listen to the card players. One of them is 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
They are loving. They are wonderful. They have wisdom. They have stories. When I first started, I had someone bring me his hat from Nam, and he talked about his, young days in the Navy. I hope it was Navy. But just, having a 93-year-old sit there and tell you his stories and his days, gone by, the wisdom and the caring that they have for each other and for us. And then the working board. I mean, this is a great board, and to see them every day, they're there to help us, and they're there to be to help the Oasis be successful for the future.
Yeah, sure. I have, as I mentioned to you, I've worked on some in some nonprofit settings where we've had a governing board, and it's been more of a I would not call it a working board. So having that support in terms of not just boots on the ground, as you mentioned, and digging in and helping, but also I'm sure they're probably out there promoting the Oasis and hopefully helping raise some funds and things like that, trying to get the word out. And that's definitely a huge benefit. So we've been talking with Krista Miller. We've got just a couple minutes left. Just wanted to make sure before we leave the air, we talked about the vendor show coming up, which should be a big deal for you. I hope that'll bring in lots of funds for you. Can you tell us once again the dates, times, what kinds of things will be there?
August 27th on a Saturday, 10 to 4.
Okay.
And we've gotten several sponsors too, which is wonderful. Me Realty, Jake's Furnishings, Examus, Bennett Funeral Home, D&D Sewer. We're having some porta potties out there.
Nice.
We've got a couple of vendors coming in. We have a snow cone vendor coming in from Decatur.
Okay.
Our snow cone people were taken downtown Lincoln, which is wonderful.
Oh.
So we had to go find someone. But and then we've got some windsock people coming in, some kites and some fun, so there'll be a lot of colorful stuff going on out there at the corner of at the Oasis at 2810 Woodlawn Road.
Okay, very good. So that is August 27th. That is also in conjunction with the Balloons Over 66 weekend happening, obviously, that weekend, the 26th and 27th. And the Oasis vendor show is happening 10 to 4. We also mentioned earlier on September 22nd, a spaghetti dinner at the Oasis. Do you happen to know the times of that?
4 to 6.
4 to 6. And takes place at the Oasis Senior Center. Tickets are available in advance. You can call the Oasis or stop by.
Yep.
And we may actually have a phone call. So what is that? Can you tell us again the spaghetti dinner information?
So you spaghetti, garlic bread, salad, and cookies. And it's a drive-through, so you'll pre-purchase your tickets and you will drive through the Oasis from 4 to 6:30. Tickets are available for pre-sale on Facebook or at oasisseniorcenter.com.
Okay, very good. So our caller just wanted to know if there was going to be an art fair along with the balloon festival, and I believe Lincoln Arts Institute is going to have.
Yes, it is downtown.
An arts fair.
Absolutely.
Downtown. So it's going to be. They had the big festival before and then split it up, and it sounds like the art fair and the vendor fair and obviously the balloons. So it's building back up again to a bigger event. So hopefully the weather cooperates and everything can take place without a hitch. So our guest today has been Krista Miller, Oasis Senior Center Executive Director. Anything I didn't ask you about or anything you wanted to be sure to mention that we didn't cover, or our time kind of flew here?
I did forget one sponsor. Small Town Creations is going to create us some T-shirts for the vendor event.
Okay.
So everybody can say, that's the person I go to. So we're covered.
Okay, very nice. So I can't think of anything else I wanted to ask you, so I appreciate you finding your way out here. Hopefully it wasn't too painful for you.
No.
All right, so we'll maybe get my calendar out here and I'll book you for another show here in the future. So our guest has been Krista Miller with the Oasis Senior Center. Be sure and tune in next week when Seth Goodman will be here to tell us a little bit more about the Balloons Over 66 event. And until then, this has been Loyd Kirby with the 4 p.m. 411. The preceding program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.